know you've been running standard brand across, same brand across multiple parts of Delhi, and why do you think people come back, and what does the brand stand for?
There is a lot of working to be done when you plan how your brand wants to be, what should consumer perceive about your brand. Once the customer enters your restaurant, all his senses are sharp. We all know about the five senses of touch, smell, taste, hearing, sight. The most important sense which most of us miss is the sense of humor. That sense of humor we're working on. The moment the customer enters the restaurant, how he's greeted, how your menu looks, how your coaster looks, how your food looks. So that sense of humor has to be created. And definitely the quality of food, the portion sizes, the ambience, it has to be there has to be a lot of humor about everything, so that he has some smiles and some laughter to go back with, what he remembers. And the battle begins at home only, which restaurant, which eating out place a customer wants to go. When he decides what he wants to wear, if he's wearing a formal attire or he wants to go in a very comfortable pajamas, this is where the brand, he decides which restaurant, which cafe he wants to go. So this is mainly we work on the sense of humor, which is very, very important. People want to get entertained. They want to enjoy their evening. It's not only about food. It's about other things which you give the customer for free. That's very important.
Okay. Vaibhav, reactions as you think about brand and trying to build your own brand in the market?
Well, we have tried to include the whole personality part of it in the Chinese story. We've created characters. We've tried to make it a lot more entertaining. As you read the menu, it's not just a list of items that we have some jokes added to it. I would like to say that I feel it's really important to keep that in mind. Aside from the food, you do need to surprise the customer every now and then. Try something new, some promotion, something you could do different with your food to keep them coming back and to keep them guessing, what could be next. And the comfort factor is very important. I feel we are a casual dining restaurant where we do try to give them full service, but we also want it to be a very comfortable environment where people just hang out, come by to not just have a meal, but also spend quality time there.
Okay. Interesting. So the other thing which defines, so brands was one thing which defines the millennials, as I spoke about. The other thing which defines millennials is technology, right? So you walk into a restaurant, there'll be 5 people sitting or 4 people sitting. Everybody will have their phone out. They could be messaging each other, or they could be kind of putting stuff on. It's always on. So it's not 4 people are not having dinner or a meal, right? It seems like 40,000 of them are having the meal at the same point in time. And that's both, obviously it's an opportunity. I'm sure over the next 2 days we'll hear lots of interesting stories and plays and how this will help grow the business, make it more efficient, and yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the time, it's also distracting from eating, or is it part of eating? I don't know, maybe we'll start with you. You spoke about your son goes out, he has his phone always handy. Does he even know what he's eaten? How do you, or I'm sure in your restaurant, how do you get them to come to the core experience? Or is that the new reality, that the core experience is partly outside the phone and it's partly inside the phone kind of thing? And I'll just go around, and maybe if you guys can have others react also to the same point. Where will this take us? Where will this technology, the smartphones are getting bigger and more powerful, and how do you deal with it? How do you tell them that what's served on the table is something new when the guy may not even know or realize, right, kind of thing?
No, what they want to, when they go to a restaurant, what they want is a new content always for the page. So that makes them order new things in the menu also. New presentations all the time. Definitely value for money. And I would say it's a great help that people advertise for us on the social platforms. Technology is really helping. If we tell them what we are and tell them in a lot of transparency, they would understand what we are. And that really helps us as a brand to give them whatever we are and they are ready to tell everybody in the town. So I would say that their self-awareness and the way they create awareness for our brands is very important, and it's really helpful for us.
Okay. Reactions? Somebody else? Zorawar?
So I think we all know that the government had banned porn a few weeks ago, and then they quickly I think food porn should be banned. And I'll tell you why. Food porn is when a person takes exactly 25% extra time in placing an order because they're busy Instagramming or talking on the phone or Facebooking, right? Now, social media is an amazing, amazing tool. I think all of us can be very clear that despite the e-stress factors, I think it's a great tool that can be harnessed. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram are all amazing tools. What's happening from a technological perspective is that you're getting free advertising. For example, if a Twitter person comes, a celebrity comes, and they tweet even once that, oh, I had this great meal at, XYZ restaurant, immediately 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 people would know about it, which they would not have. So you're getting free marketing. Imagine if I had to reach 30,000 people. If you do the math, I'd probably have to place an ad in Gurgaon Times or Delhi Times or Bombay Times. That would cost me 8-9 lakhs. Here, it cost me nothing. In fact, I got paid. I got paid to actually have somebody free advertise for me. So I think technology is just fabulous. Social media platforms are great. It has its downside, right? People sometimes go and misuse it. We have a lot of times at our restaurants, people actually standing out. So we're lucky to have busy restaurants, and I see this very often with my own eyes. You can't get a table, and they actually take out the Zomato app and show it to you. Buddy, give me a table, or I'm going to type it right now.
So that's what I have to do next time?
Yes. No, don't do that, because then we won't let you enter. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. But honestly, so people wielding it in an unfortunate way is unfortunate, but I think you've got to live with it. If you were to ask me the pros and cons, I would say the pros far, far outweigh the cons. Any day I would choose free advertising, free marketing, people talking about my food. The other day, somebody in New York had posted about one of our restaurants on Instagram, and we follow, obviously, when you hashtag and all that. And I was blown away. This was a major food critic from New York who had come to our restaurant on this, surprised us, and they went and Instagrammed about it, and I was blown away. So, it's very, very good. You have to harness it. Like anything, I can give you a phone. You could choose to either misuse it or use it appropriately. And I think guests should be a little bit considerate when the waiter, and he's got 5 other tables to take care of, if he's standing by the side of your table, and you're busy messaging your friends or taking photos. I think it just makes sense to have a little bit of consideration. And I think that's eventually going to happen. People are going to get more, technology etiquette, so to speak.
Priyank?
See, technology has become a very important part of the whole restaurant dining out ecosystem. It's so much of free advertising, as Zorawar said, for us, and it's a very nice experience for the guest, for the diner to engage in it. Like, you have to choose a restaurant, you actually look it up in Zomato, you go through the reviews. Then you want to book a restaurant there, you go to dine out. Then when they come to the restaurant, we have to use another app to check that which table is available. We've now started actually on reservations mailing them the map of the restaurant with the table allocated to them. When they have their meal, as soon as the meal is presented on the table, they start clicking photographs, they post it on Facebook, on Instagram. After the meal is done, they use another very interesting app called Rupli to pay the bill. Then when they go back home, they go back on Zomato and they write about you. So it's just, everything is so concentrated to technology right now, and it's doing a great job for the restaurateurs. As Zorawar said, it's a lot of free advertisement, and if we actually wanted to reach the number of people we reach while actually getting paid for it, it's great.
Yeah, so I think that's all the positivity, but I'm sure there are instances when things go bad too, right? I don't know, Dheeraj or Mohit, something wrong happens, there's one thing which is not working in one store and somebody was rude to me.
There is a lot of blackmailing, but then the pros do weigh the cons.
So in the end, you would choose the positives on that. Mohit, reaction?
You're right. For every positive, not for every positive, but for every possibly 10 positives, there's also a negative. And there are customers who do vent out their feelings. Twitter, Facebook, etc. are great venting out mediums in some sense. And typically one, bad customer comment is also commented upon by a few others who were dissatisfied, in their experience with the particular brand. But what we have seen and observed is that the one bad comment, if handled well, can actually turn out to be your next brand ambassador. If you're able to satisfy that customer well and in time, that customer becomes an advocate of the brand. And that is something that's been worked upon, which essentially means that as brands, you need to have real-time management of your social media platforms and monitor these comments on a real-time basis.
Okay, interesting. So we'll go to the third topic that I would like to cover, and we'll come back to the audience for some questions. So everyone here spoke about innovation, right? Innovation a little bit. Food, service, experience, product, business model, supply chains. I guess, and maybe we'll start with you, Dheeraj, and we'll go around the panel. The issue is, are we done? Or is it just getting started? Like, are we just tip of the iceberg, and 2 years from now or 5 years from now when we sit here, we'll have zillion more opportunities and options? Or do you think kind of some of that will settle down, we'll come back to something a little bit more stable kind of thing? From your view, and I'll go around and everybody get a quick reaction. So it's a done deal, it's over, we are back to butter chicken and dal, and that's what we are going to eat? Or is it just getting started, we haven't seen we don't even know what we don't know kind of thing? So,
at the risk of repeating myself, what I very strongly feel is, if you understand the consumer need, I think our businesses are going to survive. So it's like for Vada Pav, it was never about food which costs lesser, because when we started doing a lot of qualitative analysis and quantitative research, we figured out that people who were short on time, they were looking for a Vada Pav to quickly eat and go. And I think once we recognized that as a need, and then we realized that there are so many players who can satisfy their need, and there are so many Indian brands which are going to get created. So we personally feel that Jumbo King should be at 1,000 stores 5 years from now. Now that's a very ambitious number, and we feel that there will be at least 10 such 1,000 crore companies which will get created around the food space within the Indian ecosystem when it comes to food. And if you look at the Western models, just to that within that same space also, it's like Domino's does home delivery, Pizza Hut concentrates on the dine-in kind of an experience. And then there are other chains which have not come into India, where they concentrate on the takeaway pizza experience. So I think the more we get into the consumer need that is getting fulfilled, you'll see a lot of very, very large brands which are going to come out. We haven't even seen the tip of the iceberg.
Okay, Weber, reactions? I know you have one store, one outlet, 3 months old. You hope there is lots more there?
Yes, definitely. But I definitely feel that technology is going to play a huge part, not just from the consumer side, but also embracing it from the point of view of the restaurant and how you function is very important, because it gives you a huge insight onto what your consumers are consuming, what you need to do, how you could, take yourself to the next level to make the experience a lot more enjoyable to them. I think learning from the info that you can collect through your restaurant, through your customers on a daily basis, is what could help you really reach that level.
Okay, Vikrant?
I feel that the era of comfort food has just started in parallel to the convenient food, the assembly line food. The convenient food era has been way long, from McDonald's, Domino's, Pizza Hut. The era of casual dine, cafes, and comfort food had started now. People are getting more aware. They want healthy options. They want customized food that shows their lifestyle. The era of organic food will start. It has started. It will grow in numbers. Ingredient-oriented concepts will have a better market. Today, everybody knows that a New Zealand lamb is better than an Indian lamb. So the ingredient-oriented market is still untouched. The awareness will grow. And thanks to Mohit that they're getting into the food. And it is a very welcoming thing for the restaurant industry, because we have never competed with the Ghar Ka Khana. We can never compete with the Ghar Ka Khana. And they're giving all the consumers a better Ghar Ka Khana that will improve the awareness of the ingredients used. And once the consumer gets more involved with the ingredients, his awareness grows, then he eats out more at restaurants which have intelligent food and comfort food.
Okay, Mohit, reaction, quick reaction. You just got started.
So I actually completely agree with him. I think the era of food, eating out, etc., has just about started. I think it's still early days, and the market will see a lot more innovation across the spectrum, whether it's organic food or whether it's healthy food or whether it's your proteins and calories mentioned on the menus for every dish. I think the market's got to see a lot more in this space, and I think it's going to be happy days for everybody. And just as a small point, we actually do better in areas where there are more eating out options. So, just to substantiate the point that he made, that, when people eat out and get exposed to a particular kind of cuisine, they actually want to, then make it at home. So, it actually works hand in hand in some sense.
Okay, so they buy the expensive quinoa, then figure out that you can never make the salad taste as good as you, then you go out and eat out anyway. So, Ravar, reaction?
Just quickly, a simple stat I want to share with you guys. If you are an Indian looking to lease on rent a place to live in Singapore, it's 4 times harder for you. And the reason you'll be shocked to hear is because we guys like to cook at home. I'm not kidding. In Singapore, Indians are looked down upon as lessees because we like to cook food and at home, and that leaves smells and all that stuff. Most of the rentable places in Singapore don't even have a gas connection. So you have to pretty much go and eat out. And that's the culture in most of Southeast Asia. Hong Kong is the #1 country in the world in terms of eating out, and they actually eat out on an average about 2 times a day. So when my friends say that this is the tip of the iceberg, please believe them. This is truly the tip of the iceberg. We're going to be burgeoning up, according to NRAI statistics, over 78 billion by 2018. So, and imagine, right now we eat out twice a week. A population, the middle class population of India is 300 million people. To put that in perspective, that is equivalent to the entire population of the United States, give or take a few million. So just look at the market available. And as long as us over here, and these are all home, I'm very, very proud right now. Every single person sitting over here is a homegrown brand. None of us have QSRs. Everybody built our own concepts from scratch. So it's a matter of pride. Indian restaurants and restaurateurs are being very well supported by consumers and patrons like you. And I think we haven't even seen the tip of the iceberg, literally. So it's very exciting times ahead.
Okay, Priyank, last reactions from you.
As all said, it is the tip of the iceberg. Our population is such that we really, if we compare it to the number of restaurants in ratio to the population in London or New York and any other city, we're probably 20 times lesser. There is, the eating out culture is growing so much, and I believe this industry is a recession-proof industry. If you're a little tight, you will not buy a big house, you buy a smaller flat. You'll not buy a big car, you'll buy a smaller car. But you will not, when you go inside a restaurant, especially North Indian Punjabi mentality, they really don't look at the right-hand side. Yaar, bachche ko bhook lagi hai, khana khana hai. So it's a brilliant, it is the tip of the iceberg, and I feel there are many more players going to come and many more new markets going to develop, and let's see India on the world food map very soon.
Okay, excellent. So very, very positive, obviously, kind of, not surprisingly, obviously, but a very positive kind of panel, feel the best is yet to come. It will be competitive, it will be tough, but everybody's signing up to kind of do their best kind of thing.